Hi, what's happening, y'all? It's your boy Rico from Street Scores, and the new Washington football team or Washington organization name, logo, and jerseys will be announced February 2nd, 2022. So 2/2/22. Just think of that. Keep that in your head when you're trying to remember exactly when it will be announced. Of course, we got to discuss all of the clues to the new identity. Of course, they had to come out with the making the brand video, and there's a lot of subliminal images, things you gotta catch that are secretly in the video. You gotta really look into the words that they say, really dive deep into the wording that they use throughout the video. There's a lot of clues everywhere. First of all, RIP to Redwolves. Of course, we're going to talk about that after the intro. And then, of course, I got to discuss all of the chaos on the internet. Because, of course, people are digging, trying to find out the new name after we got these couple of clues. And the internet, especially Twitter, was a wild place for a little bit. So I'm going to catch y'all up on everything, including the chaos on the internet. But before we do, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell next to the subscription button so you get a notification immediately. And every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. Also, make sure you check out the rest of the channel. All of my videos are organized in playlists. I even have a comedy playlist for all of my funny videos. Go check out my Washington football team versus the Eagles rematch review. Also, go check out all of my concept videos on how the Burgundy and Gold can attack quarterback in the draft. All of the free agents that we need to be looking at in this upcoming off season, and also the 20 positives from this tragic season. And without further ado, let's get it. Alright, so first of all, like I already said, the Washington football team announced that it will reveal its new name, logo, jerseys, identity, all of that February 2nd. Remember, a few months ago, they said they would reveal it early 2022. I was worried about that they may wait till like right before the draft or something, but it will be February 2nd within less than a month, which I'm really excited about. Martin Mayhew even said in the Making the Brand video with Doug Williams. And speaking of that, I think everybody in the video that like had a prominent speaking role, like everybody that was the head of something, were all minorities, including Ron Rivera. So that was really interesting to me. I just didn't expect that. I'm not used to seeing that with anything big business. So that's progress. Shouts out to the Washington football team for that. But in that video, Martin Mayhew did mention that they wanted to make sure they had the new name and identity and all of that out there before they even headed into free agency. So not only just the draft, but also free agency as well. They wanted to know where they were trying to go. They wanted to make sure they get the right players to fit that identity and everything. I don't exactly know what that means. Like, I don't know how a new name changes with players you draft and pick up. Maybe if you're trying to put together a tough guy type of identity and mentality, I don't know. Hard workers, more guys like Jonathan Allen, excluding the fight, maybe guys that are heavy into the community. I don't know. I'm literally just spitballing at this point as far as all of that goes. But moving forward, in the video, Jason Wright also announces, and as well in the article, that the new name will not be anything to do with Wolves, Red Wolves, none of that. And of course, y'all know me, man. First of all, it's one of my most viewed videos on my entire channel. And also, I just love the name. I just personally really like something to deal with Wolves. I think there were so many concepts you can do. We've already discussed this millions of times, live stream videos on Twitter, everywhere. But like the fact that the stadium could have been nicknamed the Den, something could have been a wolf pack like the fan base, or maybe like the defense, or maybe specifically like the DB group or something. Like the fans could have howled when things happened. There were so many ways that you could have made Red Wolves so marketable and fun for everybody. I mean, you saw little kids as young as like 5 years old campaigning to make it that. You have people of all ages. I think the majority of the fan base was definitely rooting for Red Wolves. Every time there was some type of survey done on like Twitter or wherever, Red Wolves always won. So this is a pretty sad day for quite a bit of the fan base. But of course, there's also a nice portion of the fan base that didn't want Red Wolves at all or preferred another name. But for the most part, the majority of the fan base, including me, is sad to hear this news. But at the end of the day, I do care about what the new name will be, but I care way more about what the jerseys look like. And also, even more importantly than that, I care about the winning and what the product on the field looks like as far as production and playoff contention, Super Bowls. But it would have been really nice to reach a Super Bowl with a Redwolves logo or anything dealing with wolves. That would have been great. Again, like I've already said millions of times as well, I just love wolves, my favorite animal, so I've always been on board with that. I've been saying I wanted our name to be Wolves literally the day that they announced that we were getting rid of the name Redskins, or even before that when they were speculating that we may have to. I've always been Wolves. Even playing NCAA where you could make your own franchise, I always had something with wolves every time. Anytime I can create something on a sports game, even since I was a little kid, I've always been wolves. So that's why I've been really passionate about it. It's not even just the way it sounds. I legitimately it's my favorite animal. So I was really pulling for that to happen, but apparently it won't. But moving forward, remember months ago, the Washington football team announced that there will be 3 finalists selected from a list of 8 candidates, including Armada, the Presidents, Brigade, Red Hogs, Commanders, Red Wolves, Defenders, and Washington football team. So Red Wolves already gone. I highly doubt they did all of this just to keep it the Washington football team. So I'm assuming it may be one of those other 6, but I also think Red Hogs is quite unlikely. I think they're gonna stay away from anything with red, like they've already said several times as well. So that leaves us with potentially maybe Armada, Brigade, Commanders, Defenders, and Presidents. But then there's a clue later on that we're going to discuss as to why the name may start with a W. Who knows? I'm not sure if they're prioritizing the name starting with a W or even an R so that we can keep the HTTR, but we'll see. Maybe they'll keep it 2 syllables so that all you got to do is insert the new name right into the fight song. You should be straight. But then looking at some of the clues to the new jersey and helmet design in the video, it looks clean. First of all, for me, what I've been preaching for over a year now is that I really hope that they get the shade of burgundy and gold right. And looking at these jerseys, it definitely looks like they did that well. I hate the gold that looks more yellow that we had for a very long time. I was so happy about just changing that when we changed to the Washington football team. We darkened our burgundy. It wasn't as red. It was more of a deep, richer burgundy, a shinier burgundy. It looks like now this shade of burgundy is even better than the one that we've had with the Washington football team. So I'm really excited. I feel like they've already aced the colors as far as what the new branding will be. Now, as far as how they'll match up on the uniform and what they'll look like together, how they'll accent each other and all of that type of stuff, and as far as like alternate jerseys as an option, who knows? But as you can see, we will have a mostly burgundy jersey. We'll also, of course, have a mostly white jersey, but I really hope we get something involved with black. I really do. I hope we end up with like a black helmet at times. You see in one of these pictures at the bottom right that there's like some black lining. I really hope we get black involved with our uniforms, at least a couple of them, maybe even if it's not our home uniforms, like when we're wearing mostly burgundy. But I definitely want some black involved in our jersey set for sure. It'll just give it a more modern look. It's just gonna plain old look better. The only worry that I have though, maybe that black on that bottom right picture is just the inside stitching inside of the seam. Maybe this is just like the jersey inside out or something. I don't know. Maybe it's just the pants. Who knows? I just really want black involved quite heavily in our new color scheme. And then of course you notice that we have the stars somewhere on the uniform. I don't know if that's like at the end of the sleeve. I don't know if that's around the waist on the pants. It looks more like the end of the sleeve though. So maybe our new name, our new logo, new identity will have something to do with stars, something military. We'll see. Diving into more clues, also Doug Williams in the video, the Making the Brand video, said about the uniforms, it's a clean uniform, just got the number, stripes around the shoulders, and that's it. He didn't mention those stars though that we clearly see, so maybe he's leaving stuff out on purpose just not to give too much information away, because he's making it sound like it's literally just a clean uniform, just the numbers and just the stripes around the shoulders, and he literally says, quote, "That's it," unquote. But we clearly see on that picture that there are stars somewhere, and he didn't mention the stars, so he's definitely leaving stuff out on purpose. He has to be. And then Jason Wright in the video also says, here is one of the main helmets. So I love that quote because it sounds like we are adapting to a modern setup where we may have more than one helmet depending on the game, whether it be like primetime games, maybe Thursday night specifically, or even home and away. Maybe we have a different helmet for home from the helmet that we use away. I don't know. I would love that concept though. I would love as many different jersey, helmet, pants combinations as possible. So hearing him say one of the main helmets as long as he's talking about what will actually happen rather than one of the main helmets as far as a concept goes, then I'm happy. If we have more than one helmet, and then he said one of the main helmets, like it may even be 3, I'm really excited about that. But of course, that could just be one of the main helmets out of the concepts and ideas that they have planned, not necessarily one of the main helmets from the final decision. We'll see though. Jason Wright also hands one of the main helmets to Rivera, and it's blurred out, but you can see it's mostly burgundy with a gold stripe going down the middle and a big gold logo on the side. No more numbers like Alabama. I was always neutral to that. Like, I didn't love it, also didn't hate it. I thought it was unique. That was the part I liked about it, but at the same time, as a Georgia fan, I don't really want to do anything dealing with Alabama, so I didn't like it for that reason, for very personal, biased reasons, I can admit. But either way, it looks like it will no longer be the numbers like Alabama. And also, when you look in the mirror reflection behind Rivera with the glass looking at the field, you can see that there's a W on the helmet. They blurred out the helmet but didn't blur out the reflection of the helmet behind Rivera. So I'm not sure if this means that this is just a smoke screen, that all of this is just a smoke screen and they left that in the video on purpose, or if the new helmet will literally just have a W on it, even with a new name and everything. Like, maybe the new name also starts with W, or maybe we're just gonna have W on the side for Washington. But there was definitely a W on the side of that helmet even after they tried to blur it out. Martin Mayhew also mentioned that the name will be regional specific. I feel like that shouldn't be a priority. I don't think there's any Vikings in Minnesota. There's definitely no Buccaneers left in Tampa Bay. There's definitely no Jaguars in Jacksonville unless somebody just has it as a pet. That's definitely not regional specific though. At least I hope there's no Jaguars just walking around. So I feel like that does not need to be a priority. I hope they don't force something political because they want to be regional specific, even if the majority of the people, especially, I mean, this is more so for y'all. A lot of y'all are born and raised DMV. Y'all still live there. So I really hope whatever the final product comes out to be makes y'all happier than it makes me. Because again, I care more about the product on the field. I care more about what the jerseys look like. But as far as the name and identity, especially if it's not going to be Redwolves at this point, I just hope it's not something terrible. And I also really hope it's something that the majority of DMV fans really cling on to and really take pride in for y'all's sake. Also, throughout the video, while talking about why it will not be Redwolves or Wolves and showing all kinds of wolf concepts and things like that, they also showed the eye of a hawk or an eagle or some type of bird while saying we had to cancel any options that are owned or trademarked by other professional teams, which may cancel out Red Hawks or anything similar. And Redtails is also featured throughout the video, and I feel like anything shown directly in the video has no chance of being the new name and identity, because then they just already revealed it. Why would they even risk doing that? Even though, I mean, again, I'm not sure if it was on purpose or not, but I don't know if I trust how tight-knit this process is with them leaving that W clearly shown in the reflection right behind Rivera in the glass after they tried to blur out the helmet. So I don't know. I don't know if all of this is just a scheme to throw us off. But again, I care more about like how they're gonna market everything, what the jerseys will look like and all of that type of stuff, and like the different helmets and jersey setups. I really want like an alternate jersey. I really want black involved. I care way more about all of that than what the name is gonna end up being, honestly. So I just hope they do right by us, man, please. And honestly, with all of the clues we've already gotten and just them giving us a definitive date of February 2nd, which means they're near the end of the process, like clearly we know for a fact they already have the idea, they already have the patents, the trademarks and all of that type of stuff. I would be very surprised if the new uniforms, or at least the name, will not be leaked before February 2nd. So definitely be on the lookout for that, because you definitely have people that's gonna look at trademark patent histories in the DMV area done by Dan Snyder, like all kinds of stuff like that. Something's gonna come out before February 2nd. And then of course with a new name announcement, there was a lot of stupidity and chaos going on. Like, some people were trying to expose the Washington football team because the WashingtonAdmirals.com leads you directly to the website. And then it got really funny because there's a team in Georgia named the Washington Admirals, and apparently they're like some type of Quidditch team. I don't know, but people have been trying to expose them and say like the new name is gonna be Admirals, and they messed it all up because there's already a website named WashingtonAdmirals.com that leads you directly to the website. And then shortly after, people showed you how you could just link anything to the website. Like it's WashingtonPigtails.com that leads you to the website. And then somebody else came out in a real troll way and showed you that WashingtonItchySpiders.com leads you to the website. All you gotta do is just make anything up and you can redirect it to the Washington football team website. So any clues like that are dead, because that's just something anybody can do. So that whole fiasco, especially on Twitter with the Washington Admirals and people feeling like they exposed the Washington football team organization and were like, man, they messed it up again. Now they've messed up a lot of things, but it wasn't gonna be that easy. People thought they had the new name figured out the day that they announced that everything will be revealed February 2nd. And then also other notes, I agree with a lot of people that are basically like hating this whole process and how much is just getting egged on and how much is lingering. Because at the end of the day, I mean, until we start winning games, it doesn't matter. I mean, you could try to put a nice wrapping on trash, it's still gonna be trash. Even if our helmets and our jerseys are fire, if we're going out there and losing games, not making it to the playoffs, not even having a chance at a Super Bowl, it's literally not gonna matter. Because all we're gonna attach to that new name is losing. Because right now, the Washington football team, we've had moments of hope, but at the end of the day, Washington football team didn't win a playoff game. And that's all we're going to remember them by 20 years from now. And so we can do all these changes, new name, new logo, new identity, new branding, new marketing, all of that. Not gonna matter if we don't win on the field, honestly. But again, I also hate how long this lingered, because I feel like this was more so of a distraction to keep the fans' attention away from how they were messing up a lot of things. First of all, the product on the field and all of the losing we were doing, but also like the Sean Taylor situation and many things like with Dan Snyder and the sexual assault cases and allegations, women and minority rights as far as this organization goes, all of that stuff. I feel like when in doubt, they just were like, let's just keep holding on to this new name, new logo situation. Let's just keep talking about it, but never finalizing it and making any big announcements so that whenever anything's going wrong, we could just bring up the new name, new logo and all of that and try to get fans excited again. Because every time it seemed to be something going wrong, we got a new announcement or clue as to what the new identity will be. And now that we've officially been kicked out of the playoffs, here we go with more name news. So to me, it just feels like the organization is just like, hey, ignore all of this fire behind you, ignore all of this chaos, all of this fighting, all of this stupidity, all of this terrible football. Here's a piece of candy for you again. And just every time something bad happens, they just pull up with a piece of candy. And then I also don't like how they had like John Bates announce the name. They're clearly just trying to ride the wave of John Bates being one of the favorite players on the team right now. A lot of us are excited about John Bates and what he's done these past few weeks since Logan Thomas and Ricky Seals-Jones have been hurt. He's really stepped up big time on the field, and I'm really excited. You could definitely argue he's our best rookie from this draft class, especially if you consider where he was drafted at. But then the Washington football team tries to use that. I'm pretty sure he didn't even like think to tweet this himself. He tweeted a picture of himself holding up a muscle, and then he has 2-2-22 in front of it, new name coming soon, and even added Washington NFL. I'm pretty sure, I'm almost 99% sure the Washington football team was behind all of that. They told him to tweet it, told him to add them, and then they retweeted it. I'm pretty sure they're just trying to do whatever they can to keep in the good graces of the fans. Again, we were just eliminated from the playoffs, and they're just doing whatever they can to appease us. And it feels pretty condescending, I'm not gonna lie. And then also, my last note taken from this whole process and the video is that, I mean, Ron Rivera is clearly heavily involved in the new name, the new logo, the new identity, and all of that. They always run it by him. They ask him his opinion and all of that type of stuff. So what I take from that is he will be here for at least the remainder of his 5-year contract. There's no way he's had this much of an impact on the team's new identity and logo, which hopefully will be here for the next hundreds of years. And so if your head coach is heavily involved in that, you're expecting your head coach to be your head coach for a very long time. So I think Dan Snyder, Jason Wright, and all of these guys who you would assume would be here longer than Ron Rivera feel like Rivera will be here for a very long time. Kind of like how Bill Belichick's been the head coach for the Patriots for forever. I think they view Ron Rivera like that as well. And again, at the very least, he's going to play out his 5 years in this contract the way that they have him heavily involved in long-term decisions for this team outside of just even player personnel. But the branding and marketing and the identity of the franchise and like legal issues, you do not normally see a head coach involved in the things that Ron Rivera is involved in. I mean, he's even also a part of picking and choosing who's in the front office, not even just coaching staff. Like, he's allowed to have input on who gets hired to work with Jason Wright and Dan Snyder. And he's the GM at the same time in a way. So I basically say all of that to say that Ron Rivera is here to stay for a very long time. And I'm interested in seeing what the future of the Washington football team holds with Ron Rivera as our head coach for a very long time, and whatever this new identity, jersey, logo, branding, marketing, all of that will be, man. I'm excited. I just feel like the Washington football team needs to do a better job of going about this. But hey, man, it's already almost over. We have less than a month left, so we'll see. But yeah, man, that's the end of this video. Please get in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about everything discussed in this video. Please like it if you learned anything, if you liked the video. Also, of course, get in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about everything that I discussed, all of the clues I gave y'all. Do y'all agree or disagree with any of my clues? Did you notice anything on Twitter, on the internet, in the making the brand videos that I didn't notice? Definitely get in the comment section. I want this to be a hub for us trying to figure out what the new identity will be. I want this to basically be like an elite Reddit thread or an elite Discord server. I want this comment section to be the leader in finding out what the new identity will be, if we can. It would be really nice. And of course, man, I appreciate all of the support, man. Shouts out to everybody that donates to the streams, man. I really appreciate y'all. I appreciate everybody that pulls up to every stream and leaves a like before they leave. That's big as well. And of course, a special shouts out to all of my sponsors, especially my Pro Bowl sponsors, whose name you see scrolling on the screen. I appreciate y'all, man. I'm gonna keep y'all updated on everything around the Washington football team, not just like the new name, identity, and logo, but anything going on with the team as far as like free agents, draft, all of that type of stuff. Y'all know, just because it's about to be the off season for the Washington football team, it is not an off season for Street Scores. So stay tuned for all of that. I'll catch y'all later. I'm out.